Shut up! I'm going to kill the next person I fucking see, I swear to God.
Hello, hi, I'm so happy to see you.
Hey, oh my God. Oh my God, what's going on?
Wow, I'm so happy to see you. Blah, 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 blah.
She says, is beauty all that matters? And you say, what else is there?
It was dumb, I know.
You should write a book. How to offend women in 5 syllables or less.
I am very uncomfortable with the energy that we've created in the studio today.
That accepted her gift, which I think is just a fragment of Mythal.
Today's the day for me to elaborate on what I meant by that. We know from the events of Dragon Age 2 that Flemeth can fragment her soul at will. She puts a piece of herself in that amulet and gives it to Hawke, and in so doing, doesn't die. Who's to say that that isn't all she's doing with her daughters? Just having them around as a failsafe. Or, on the other side of the token, it could be the work of the Fenris. Solas tells us in Trespasser that the Fenris killed Mythal, but obviously that isn't the case because Flemeth is running about. I think it's entirely likely that the way they killed her was fragmenting her soul, or her spirit, so she wasn't a threat. And now, Flemeth is trying to pick up the pieces and put them together. Walk away for 1 minute in the winter and it's nighttime. But anyway. Considering the fact that possession is inherently dangerous, I think that it would make a lot of sense for Flemeth to want to store those fragments somewhere else. And Yavanna has a lot of Mythal characteristics. She has a lot of dragon in her design. And her goals are very in line with Flemeth. However, she does act with her own agency. So we know that it's different than what Morrigan thinks. It's not a full body takeover from Flemeth. And also, in Dragon Age Inquisition, Flemeth says a wisp of an ancient being, implying that it was just a teeny tiny bit of Mythal. If you believe that the old gods and the Fenris are tied together, which I absolutely 100% do, the purified old god soul could just be another piece of the puzzle that Flemeth is trying to recover.
You shut up! I'm so fucking scared right now, you shut up!
Still want to pee in a hot topic?
Yes, Rouge, thank you for listening to my insane ramblings about peeing in a hot topic.
Listen, I'll take you to a hot topic.
Finally, a place to release myself.
I know you've been holding it for so long.
What are you two fucking talking
Really yearning right now. I'm yearning and I'm pining and I'm feeling downright forlorn.
Whew. Fucking bitch, yeah, get his ass, fucking pussy! Try the fuck again, bitch! Try the fuck again! These your last words, this is the last time. 'Cause you and I, we were born to die.
Me? Obsessed with you? Yes. Yes, I am, bitch.
You're asking me about my theories? I've waited years for someone to ask me about my theories! Hang on, I made a model!
Okay, so I'm relatively new to Dragon Age. I played Inquisition like years ago, and then beat it again last year, and recently was like, I'm gonna play the old games. And I did. I beat them, finished them, just started Inquisition again, but I'm wanting to do like a new canon playthrough. So I'm starting with Origins again, and I'm like, maybe I'll play a mage this time. I want to be a healer. I want to try that out. And so I go to look at the Origin, and this might be common knowledge. How long has that been a thing? because this is obviously a detail I missed the first time, because I had never played 2. I didn't know that Amel was Hawke's, like, Hawke's mother's maiden name. I didn't know that was a thing, but, like, you can just play as a distant cousin of Hawke. I could make an entire playthrough where all of my characters are related. That's a thing? You can just do that?
Wait, are you guys dating? Huh? Yeah. So you're gay? Your mom's gay. My mom's dead. Mine too.
Solas, it's Zevran, where have you gone? Where is Fenris? What will make a happy You tell me you respect me, but you brought up and abandoned me. Why have you done this? You're so strange, you fool.
I don't know. I never counted. I am not really a math guy.
All right, I get it. Fine. You're all without fathers, all right?
I'm not. I love my dad.
Imagine you date a girl, right? Oh, not you, Nick. I'm talking to Chris. Shut the fuck up. I was scared.
Dragon Age 2 came out in 2011. I was 9 years old. I've been playing that game since I was an actual child. Inquisition came out when I was a preteen. I've played it a million times. I never connected that. I'm just making a video to point that out because this is probably correct. And I made that video about Here Lies the Abyss and like 20 people in the comment section said this and I was like, I never thought of that before. It's a little embarrassing, to be honest. But yeah, especially because we know that there's a significance to like the titles of the main quests in Inquisition. Like they were very specifically picked out anyways.
You get to be in charge. Why can't we take turns? Cause I'm the oldest. Yeah, well you also the gayest. So I think I should be in charge.
You know, I think you guys have a point here. And now I want to talk about the other characters that I personally...
Solas is autistic and I will hear nothing else.
Again, weird lack of respect for the sanctity of life. And again, maybe I'm overacting, but I feel like
I usually get sweet tea with Chick-fil-A. That's what I've always paired it.
I showed you I went to the wrong place.
Ryan!
Daisy, for my sake, please quit cutting through the alleys in Lowtown alone at night.
Nothing ever happens. I'm perfectly safe, Varric.
Yes, I know. And that nothing is costing me a fortune. So, Hawke and Daisy.
I think they're darling together.
It's almost too adorable. Well, except for the evil blood magic thing.
The most evil thing Meryl does most days is pick the flowers out of other people's gardens.
I know. I have to bribe most of the gardeners in Hightown to keep it quiet.
Okay, first of all, ow on that headcanon. And second of all, you know, something I think about, I forget about Dorian is how actually murderous he is. Because, you know, we usually think of Dorian like he's fashionable, he's funny, he's gay, we love him, he's everything. But I forget, even as a Dorian Mancer, that the guy would kill anyone that hurt anyone that he loved. Like, he literally says, yeah, I'm probably gonna go find out who killed my dad and kill them. And then find out who's making Tevinter a bad place and kill them too. He's just very nonchalant. Like, the man's really okay with murder. Which, I mean, like, slay. You go get him, hubby. You go get him, husband. Get him.
Me? Obsessed with you? Yes. Yes, I am, bitch.
He's so ugly. Oh my god. What did they do to you?
I think we all remember the life-size Solas doll for sale on Etsy, but I wanted to rate other fan-made Solas dolls. So first of all, there's some interesting attention to detail here. He's holding a sweet of some kind. Not exactly what I would picture from Solas myself. The egg is definitely egging, but there's also something very squished and uncomfortable about it, so we're gonna give it like a 4 out of 10. I like to think of this as the Captain America of fan-made Solas dolls. The egg is definitely egging in this one. The buff, beefy arms are definitely throwing me off. 4.5 out of 10. This one is pretty slay. Like, if I saw this guy at a drag show, I'd be cheering him on. Look at those hands. 7.5 out of 10. Extra points for the egg, definitely egging. That's the eggiest egg I've seen so far. Stylization is cute. 7 out of 10. Egg is not egging, so we're gonna give it like a 1.5 out of 10. This looks like a me. 3 out of 10. Finally, my personal favorite. This one is the most slay out of all of them. She's so girly pop, walk in the runways, walk in the drag show, break that veil. 10 out of 10.
Kim is a homosexual.
Oh, come on, we've all been there, done that.
What? Well, I certainly haven't, and you haven't.
Kath, I was in the Navy for 6 years.
It's both interesting and annoying that it's the two elven romances in this game that are the least healthy, and honestly, it's kind of upsetting. Because what bugs me about Sarah's romance is the entire thing is actually very sweet and very cute. And I really wanted to like Sarah, until, especially if you play as an elf, she wants you to change your entire perspective and throw out every one of your elven beliefs. And that, whoa boy, that's just uncomfortable. Because yeah, you can be silly with Sarah, you can be cute. I was genuinely giggling at some of the interactions with the Inquisitor when they were in a romance. Especially if you play as an elf and she slowly starts warming up to you. And then there's that whole thing with the Temple of Mythal where she just straight up refuses to accept anything you say about it, and it's just upsetting. God.
Not my circus, not my monkeys, not my... Oh. My circus, my monkeys.
Iron, Bull, and Varric talk about the Arishok and Sten.
You know, I met the Arishok. Oh,
The old one? Man, he had an impressive rack. The new era shock doesn't have horns at all. Usually means they're destined for something special.
I met him too. The only thing they seem to have in common is a tendency to burn things.
That pretty much sums up the Antam, yes.
Ogain is dead. The hero of the River Dane, responsible for the deaths of so many Grey Wardens, until he became one of them. 'Tis fitting that he died in a foolhardy, if heroic fashion. That was his way.
Sounds like you two knew each other.
He attempted to have my companions and I slain during the Fifth Blight. That did not end as he expected. Still, I cannot fault his valiance, considering the end that normally awaits a Grey Warden. He did well. One thing which makes me curious, did you encounter the hero of Ferelden at Adamant Fortress?
Was the hero of Ferelden a friend of yours?
We traveled together during the time she fought the Blight. I helped her, and she helped me. Indeed, without her, my son would never have been born. Regardless, did you see her?
I wish I had more to tell you, but no. I don't think so.
She's not the sort of woman to fade into the background. If she was there, you would have known.
Zero hate to the commenter. I just wanted to use their comment as like a jumping point to start talking about Alistair, this interaction, and him in general. Like, we're given Alistair's backstory. He tells us, we get bits of it from other people, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like we were never really given the full context of how it would have made him turn out. But 10, he shipped off to the Chantry, and I feel like that really sealed his fate. There was no way he was going to turn out to be like an emotionally sound person who was able to pick up social cues and be, you know, not awkward and weird as he is. We've seen the Chantry's ability to raise children. Not good. They don't have a good record. I think we also need to remember that Alistair is like 19 in Origins and 20 if you really want to push it, but he's a teenager. Like he's young. Like we're told like, yeah, you know, he liked his uncle and stuff like that, but I feel like he didn't form genuine, meaningful connections until Duncan took him into the Grey Wardens and he became friends with other Grey Wardens and Duncan. So after 19 years of living life, he finally starts becoming friends with people, forming bonds. And so I feel like sometimes when he says things and you're like, why would you say that? I feel like that's one of the reasons why is because he's never had those types of social interactions in his life. I feel like the Alistair you can see in Inquisition is definitely older and more mature. Even the one you see in Dragon Age 2 is definitely more mature, and he's still like funny and goofy because that's just who he is, but he's definitely matured more, you know, from being his 19-year-old self. Okay, now to get to this comment, this is like your first interaction with him. I also played as a female elf mage. That's the one that I have in my canon romance with him, and that's my canon warden. First part, Alistair does not dislike mages. In Dragon Age 2, he gets into an argument with Meredith because he has afforded mages a lot of freedoms that she does not personally agree with. And he defends his decisions in doing that. He makes a comment about mages regardless of whether or not you are a mage, simply because of the fact that a mage just happened to piss him off right before like your warden meets him. So that's really all that was supposed to be. A mage happened to piss him off right before your warden meets him, and he disguises a lot of his emotions behind jokes, sadness, his annoyance. He plays them all off as kind of jokes. Like, you can ask if he has a problem with mages, and he's like, no, he doesn't have a problem, and then he says like something like, don't turn me into a frog, or some shit. So he respects mages for their abilities. He's afraid of magic, as most are. Also, the female part, I don't think it was discussed at all. He was just shocked that there was a female warden, which I thought was also weird because I was like, did Duncan not say in the beginning intro speech that women are allowed to be wardens? But I guess there are not a lot of female wardens, or none that Alistair has seen, but he's also new. So that was just a surprise, like, oh, I didn't know that women are here. You can literally also ask him again if he has a problem with women or mages, and he goes no both times, and then there's like a whole bit where he makes a joke about how there should be more women wardens, and then you can call him a pervert, and he's like, oh, I didn't mean like that. So again, I think that we just interpreted those interactions differently. He also speaks with like a lot of sarcasm, and he's very passive aggressive with his annoyance and anger. So I feel like that's why people can interpret that interaction as like him being like backhanded. I don't think he was, though. I think that he was just making a joke and it came off.
You're ugly when you lie, Sid! I'm not lying! Then why are you ugly?
Who's the toughest person you know?
Raven,
Who's the toughest man person you know?
you're the toughest man person I know.
Booyah!
I really hate to be the one to show you this, but yeah, they whitewashed Fenris in the comics. And when this was pointed out to the artist, he was pretty defensive about it. He was like, well, Zevran has blonde hair and he's a man of color, so can Fenris have blonde hair and be a man of color. I mean, kind of fair, but kind of not. Zevran is from Antiva, and Fenris is from the far north, where it seems like the vast majority of people have very dark hair. Not only that, but it's like pretty common knowledge that fanon for a long time has been that Fenris had black hair before it turned pure white. One thing that I can never reconcile, though, is his sister, Verania. Why is she so fair-skinned with red hair? She looks nothing like her brother. So my headcanon has always been that they're actually half-siblings. It would kind of make sense anyway, because I doubt slaves would be able to get, like, married and stay in, like, a consistent family unit. So my headcanon has been that they're half-sibling. But yeah, they whitewashed Fenris.
Hot diggity dog! This place is magnificent.
In some capacity, the old gods turned archdemons are the key to keeping the Evanores locked away in the Black City until Solas is ready to bring down the veil. I haven't worked out exactly how, but I think that it's because they hold some of the Evanores' power, similar to how Mythal's guardian, the yellow dragon we use to combat Corypheus' dragon, sort of kind of holds some of Mythal's power. Because of that, the warden's mere existence threatens Solas's time before he has to take the veil down, because he has to be ready for the Evanores to be out and about, just with the rest of everybody else. And if they escape before he takes the veil down, it ruins almost every plan he created. So when the wardens started cooking up a plot to go out and just exterminate all of the archdemons in the deep roads before they rose, he panicked, because holy shit, they're about to free the Evanores and the veil isn't even slightly ready to come down yet. We haven't even closed the hole in the sky. The wardens are the one true threat to his plan, and not to keep it from happening, but to speed up the timeline so much so that it fucks everybody in the process even more than it's already going to. Solas knows that the second that the archdemons are dead and that the Evanores are freed and that the veil comes down, there will be no more purpose for the wardens. He sees them as a relic from the past, an archaic, bygone era that no longer has any place in the modern day. And if he gets his way, he'll be right.
Twilight Sparkle was the main character because she represented the element of friendship. Oh, please. I just want to see my family again. I'm not done. And Rainbow Dash was like the sporty girl.
And I will come. Well, 10 years have passed and I feel the same way, Rouge.
You still want to pee in a hot topic?
Yes, Rouge, thank you for listening to my insane ramblings about peeing in a hot topic.
Listen, I'll take you to a hot topic.
Finally, a place to release myself.
I know you've been holding it for so long.
What are you two fucking talking about?
You know, it's crazy that you actually mentioned this, because in my head canon, I didn't really focus too much on conversations that happened after the battle, but I actually created a key moment in my warden's life with Ogren that happened before the battle. Now, after my warden gathered all the allies and started those dinner room quests, he started becoming angrier because he knew he was getting closer to Hal and Logain. And because of this anger, he started making a lot of stupid mistakes in battle that got him injured. Now, of course, being a lifetime warriors that they are, Sten and Ogren saw this and decided to confront him about it. Now, Sten being Sten, obviously, he's very blunt, and to the point, he was like, stop letting your emotions get in the way of the mission. But shockingly, it was actually Ogren that helps my warden get through this problem. When Ogren confronted my warden, they actually had a conversation about what was going on, and because of this, Ogren taught my warden the berserker specialization that hone his anger into something effective in battle. Now, I added this into my canon because I always felt like the warden's relationship were one-sided, but this helps with making it a two-sided relationship.
Since we're all gonna die, there's one more secret I feel I have to share with you. I did not care for the Godfather.
What?
Did not care for the Godfather.
Yo, let's pick up this paper and put down the guns. Your mama know you're ugly. You your daddy's son.
I'm not even disagreeing. I just am stealing this as an opportunity to talk about Zevran again because Because I like to do that here, okay? Did you know that if your warden, who has romanced him, makes the ultimate sacrifice, and you meet him in Dragon Age 2, which is, mind you, he comes into Act 3 of Dragon Age 2, which is, what is it, like 6 years since Origins? Something like that? It's a while, it's multiple years. A handful of years after Origins. And when you ask him about the hero Ferelden, he says that he is still actively grieving. And did you also know that, if your warden makes the ultimate sacrifice, they, for some reason, felt the need to canonically confirm that he never loves again? Ever? I also mean loves in every single way, because it also says that many people asked to sleep with him, and he says no. Just thought I'd hurt you guys on this fine evening.
We cannot beat these... We cannot beat this motherfucking team for shit!
I have this dream that I'm hitting my dad with a baseball bat. He's screaming and crying for help. Maybe that flamethrower has rocked and killing me.
Who the fuck fucked up this house like this?
Do you or do you not feel bonita?
I feel bonita.
Wonderful, because you look bonita.
So I'm dating a mage, and he might be magical, but he says I have that magical thrusting. He works at a local clinic, so he doesn't make very much money, but he does clear up my gonorrhea for free. He's also possessed by the spirit of justice, and I'm fine with that because justice has that stroke game. Now, some might say that Anders is a terrorist, but what can I say? At least Anders isn't the most evil mage in the Dragon Age universe. He used to only talk about this one cat that he had, but now I'm the only kitty he needs. Anders might be planning the mass destruction of a huge monument, but I know that I can change him.
I'm so tired of like this whole, bro, I'm entering my villain arc. This is my villain arc. Like, bro, if you don't, you are 16 with 2 loving parents, upper middle class gated community. You go to some fucking random high school in an NPC ass state. You got your heart broken by a girl a year younger than you. The only villainy you partake in is casual racism and sexual harassment in random TikTok comment sections.
Oh my gosh, I'm like such a great wizard. Wizarding is so easy.
Your spells are weak. Your robes aren't enchanted. Your staff is infected. Your potions are watery. No princesses in your DMs. You couldn't slay a dragon. You can't pull a rabbit from a hat. Your quests aren't whimsical. You couldn't even ponder the orb if you tried.
You know, the thing that sold me on him wasn't like any of the big romance scenes. It was a smaller one near the beginning of the game, when you're still at Haven.
I would never have guessed that you admire me.
Of course I do. You have the world at your feet, myself included.
So you take your cue from everyone else. What if they despised me?
If that were to happen, I would reject the world for lacking in good taste. And perhaps we could continue as we are. Us against them.
And that was the conversation that really, sold me on him.
I just washed my hands. That's why they're wet. No other reason.
Ah, I suspect you are one of the new Grey Wardens. Will you accept the Maker's blessing? Then begone, heathen. That the Grey Wardens accept the likes of you is forever their greatest weakness.